Welcome back to Seeing Scarlet. This is Shelby here with Sibby. Today we got your softball update. We got another commit for the class of 2023, a late commit, but she'll be on campus in just a couple months here, in Makayla Madrid, y'all. So we're going to talk about her. She's a great player. And then we figured, we actually weren't around yet. We're just a baby pod. We love that y'all are supporting us. You're following us. Subscribe if you haven't, by the way. But we actually didn't start this thing until late December, early January. And this class was announced in November. So there's 5 other players we haven't properly talked about. We've mentioned them from time to time, hinted at it being a good class, but we haven't broken it down. So we thought, you know what? This is a great excuse to update y'all on who actually is in that class in case y'all are not aware, because it is a great class. It's actually the 37th ranked class in the country, which for your coach's first year, who at the time of that signing had only been here for 3-4 months, hadn't even had a season yet, and brought in the 37th ranked class in the country, and that was before we got Madrid. Pretty solid. So we'll get into the Paige Cassidy, I believe is her name, got hired by NC State, so people were kind of like tagging us and stuff, and I'll just put it this way, that's not new news for us or anyone that's been paying attention. She has not been on the team page for weeks now, so that move was made. It wasn't as if NC State stole her from us, so to speak. I think there was a mutual parting of the ways. We don't know that for sure, but she has not been on the team page for a while, so it was not news to us. Good for her. She got a new job. That's great. Wish her the best at NC State, but that was not anything shocking, and I wouldn't be concerned as Texas Tech fans. Put it that way. In Snider, we trust. I'm sure they have a plan there moving forward. They have not announced who our pitching coach is, but I'm sure they probably know behind the scenes what's going on there, and at the appropriate times they'll get that announced. So don't worry too much about that. It's not a big deal. We have the staff on campus that matters. We have Snider, and that's what we'll see in the recruits that we're about to get into. They all mentioned Snider as their connection. A lot of them committed to him elsewhere and then followed him to Tech. So exciting stuff for the softball program for sure.
And Snider, we trust.
And Snider, that's all you can do.
Truly.
It's like, you just got to trust the leadership we have and trust that good things will come.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, as
tell
I said,
me,
tell you more. We'll start with Makayla Madrid, because that is the most recent one. She is a catcher. How many catchers do we have on this team?
I know, yeah.
That's what she played in high school, and that's just a common theme. It's like a lot of them were catchers or shortstops, because you put your athletic, your catcher, shortstop, pitcher. That's what you play when you're like the most athletic, or center field. Like, straight down the line, the people in the middle of the field, usually your best athletes all the way through.
Facts.
So that's why you're going to see that on a lot of these. I don't know that that's her planned position at Tech. I don't know. We have tons of catchers on this team, but she's a utility player. She played first base. She played third base. She was actually originally committed to UTEP, but she bet on herself a little bit because she decommitted pretty late into the process, late into the spring, and felt like she could find a better spot and play at the Power 5 level, and she bet on herself, and it paid off because she got a late offer from us just a few weeks ago, and she took it. So, first of all, good on you.
Good
Makayla.
for you.
I love that swagger and that belief in yourself to have an offer, and that's a Division I offer. It's not a bad offer at all. It's not Power 5, but that is impressive. You got that. You've been working your whole life for that scholarship. And she's like, you know what? I've gotten better. I know I can do better. Yeah. Let me go try. And she got it. So that was the first thing from her, from a swagger level, that I like.
Yeah, and like to be able to bet on yourself, like you said, and it paying off. You know your value. You know your worth. And like what's gonna work best for her, and to do that at like such a young age, I just think is always really impressive. It makes me think of like when I get a new job and like I have to negotiate for money or whatever. I'm like, oh, I hate this. This is so scary. But Makayla's like, okay.
She's like, no.
I got this. Yeah.
I know someone will take me. Like, I ain't worried about it. You see my stats this year? I was all state
kidding.
This year. Excuse
me?
Oh
my gosh.
Like, sign me up.
Her stats are nuts.
Yeah, they are. She, like I said, was first team All-State. Cibolo, however you say that, Texas down there, South Texas, I believe. Hit .545 just in district play. What? Lord knows how good it was overall. And she set her high school's record for home runs, which seems to be a prereq at this point to be on this team. And that's before Snider's gotten a hold of her. Can you imagine?
I know.
Dumb. Just dumb. She can hit. In other words, y'all got to hit her. That's going to be a common theme in all of these signees, is she's another big bat, and she has a connection with Snider. I listened to a couple interviews with her, and she talked about how she's known Coach Snider. Back then, when he was at A&M, she went to camps and has pictures with him from there, and talks about how good of a person he is. That's always like the first thing everybody says. That gives me, like, we don't know Coach Snider personally. We'll hopefully have him on the pod sometime. When we get that figured out, but everyone talks about how he's a good person and they all just love him as a human, and then they talk about how good of a hitting coach he is, and she was the same way. So that's where that connection came from, that late connection in the game, and we found a spot for her, and she's going to join a really talented class, as we'll get into. And then one other little connection is we seem to have a little bit of a Tennessee Mojo summer ball.
Did she play on Tennessee Mojo?
She played on Tennessee Mojo as well, which is where Barnhart, Love, and then Erna Carlin, the pitching, it's already on the team, played there as well, and maybe some others, but seems to be a popular little, it's very good team, so that tracks, but she played on that team as well, so that might also be a part of the train. We're just picking them up. Let's bring them all in.
Hey, bring them home. Bring them home. Yeah.
She brings a lot of them home. Let's put it that way.
She does, and I'm like looking at her Twitter, and it seems like she really made an impact, like with her school, like for the first time in her program history for the softball team she was playing for, they had an MVP. So I don't know if that was like a MVP of the whole school and who was it, but some first time in the program history for her.
She's probably the MVP of the district or something.
That might be it.
That would be my guess.
I'm trying to dig more, but regardless, like she's good.
Yeah,
she's good.
She's a good player for sure, and she's gonna. I don't know if she'll make an impact as a freshman or not. There's definitely gonna be spots in this lineup where freshmen will be given the opportunity to be impactful, just because we have a lot of spots that open up from seniors, but there's a lot of good ones we're about to talk about.
That's right.
So they're going to be fighting for time, but we just saw Kaylee Wyckoff go off as a freshman and be Big 12 freshman year. I feel like there's a potential in the group that we're including her and the ones we're about to talk about to have another Big 12 freshman of the year, which is difficult to do in a world where OU exists.
Where OU exists.
In your conference. And why not do it back-to-back years? And
let's do it.
I got more hype. Like, I knew these players were good, looking at her, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then you start looking at the ones that we signed already, and these are fun. So these were signed way back in November. If you haven't heard about them, because we didn't exist yet, so I don't know if many people were covering it. We apologize for not existing yet, but we exist now, and we're going to go through them. So, Mimi, I don't know. That's her nickname. I think it's Caitlin or Kaylin, but she doesn't even, like, on all of her socials, it just says Mimi.
All right.
Mimi. I don't know.
Sure.
How you go with that? Blackledge is a utility player, and by utility, in high school, she was a standout hitter, but also a really, really good pitcher. I will note that we list her as just a utility and kind of talk about her as a hitter and not a pitcher, but we need pitching on this team, pitching depth. We have pitchers, but we saw how many pitchers Snider liked to use last year, and we lost Fritz, our big innings eater, as a senior, and we have Sage Hoover, which we have all the hope in the world is going to take that next step and be an ace, which she has that capability in her. But that's a lot of innings to just put on her by herself. So if this girl can pitch, I don't know. Because I was told we don't have any pitchers in this class. But when I started looking at her, the girl had 900 career strikeouts in high school. Multiple no-hitters. I think at least one perfect game. Was an all-state performer as a pitcher one year. She was at the 2A level. Let's put it out there. She was at the 2A level. But I don't give a crap. Like, that's pitching. So maybe you get her to the next level. Maybe she doesn't have the stuff. Maybe the velocity's not there. I don't know why we're not promoting her as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just trying to not put pressure on her. But they do put her as utility, which utility would say, hey, I can pitch too. So maybe she can turn into a good little pitcher and a hitter. She was that in high school. Okay. She hit just in 2022, which was the year prior to this one, but she was all-state this past year as well, but she hit 704 with a 1.442 slugging, and then in the circle had 276 strikeouts in a single season along with 5 no-hitters. That was this 2022, and then in 2023 she just upped her game even more and she had 642 at the end of 2022. Someone do that math. She had 900 career strikeouts by the end of her career. She had another 260 something strikeouts. She got about the same again as a senior. So she was basically it for this team.
Oh, yeah.
Center Point, Texas, for those that know where that is.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it means it's in the center of the state or what, but
yeah, probably.
yeah, she's a good player all around. I'm hoping maybe she can be in the circle at some point in her career, or at least, you know, something out of the pen. But Coach Snider had this to say about her. Mimi, I'm going to go with Mimi. I don't know what to say her name.
I think Mimi sounds right.
Mimi?
But, like, if we're wrong, Mimi, you tell us.
Has a big bat with big power. I'm extremely excited. She is a Red Raider and cannot wait to work with her. That was from Snider himself.
Oh, I love that. There's a photo of her, you know, in high school signing days, like they, you know, have the gym and the table and like tech stuff all laid out. Mm-hmm. This is so sweet. So like her table setup is pretty normal, right? We have like some Texas Tech photos of her and the uniform, all that good stuff. Her entire family is decked out in Texas Tech gear, like Texas Tech football. We have a double T, like everybody's wearing Texas Tech stuff. And even better, it has like all of her friends in the bleachers and they're all holding up their guns up. It is awesome. Like, I'm sure that she's she's like a hometown
too. Like, she's a star. I don't know how big Center Point, Texas is. I can't imagine very big.
It looks a little small town Texas, but like
4,000 or 5,000 people maybe, if not less than that. So
it's right outside of San Antonio. I've found out.
Yeah, so it's a suburb of there. That tracks.
But yeah, I mean, like, it seems like hometown hero, and to go off and play at Texas Tech University, girl, let's go.
Getting a few Texas Tech athletes coming from San Antonio lately, so she'll feel right at home there. I like
that's right.
So yeah, we're excited for her. I've seen a lot of stuff on her on Twitter that's gotten me excited over the last few months, where just videos of her hitting. Everything I see about her is a hitter, so I think that's like her thing.
Sounds good.
But maybe she'll shock us and bring some of that pitching attitude. You never
no
know.
Kidding.
Why can't she come in there and throw an inning at the end of the day? Let Sage do all the heavy lifting, get this old freshman in there, or maybe later in her career come in and get some innings in those games where we need an extra arm. It would be nice.
What player was it that didn't pitch for us that much, but she came into the game? Herzog. And popped off.
Yeah, Herzog was a stud on both sides of the plate her entire career. Something happened and she didn't pitch as much for us. I don't know. It might have been because she took a whole 6 months off thinking softball was done for her. It's hard to just jump back in and be a pitcher. Like it's not like riding a bike. So that might have been part of it. Or she might have had an undisclosed injury. I don't know, but that's a lot of pressure to put on this girl, Blackledge, but it's not unusual. A lot of, I mean, Jordy Ball for OU, who's now transferring to Nebraska, part of the rumor is that she wants to hit as well, and she just couldn't in the OU lineup because they're so great.
Stacked.
She wants to go do both and be at home. So it's not that uncommon in softball. A lot of the better hitters also pitched in high school because, again, it's an athletic thing. It's not unusual, but she wasn't just a pitcher. She was a stud ace pitcher in high school. And again, at the 2A level, the coaches know what stuff she has or doesn't have.
Yeah.
She had enough to strike out 900 people.
Exactly.
So a lot of strikeouts, and maybe we'll get something out of her. But moving on to the next one, because there's 4 others we got to talk about. This next one, I'm like really excited about her the more I looked into her. She's a different type of athlete and player than what we had on this year's team, and even in this class. She's more of a speed type. We didn't have a lot of speed players, like bred in speed, and that is Logan Halleman from Flower Mound, Texas. We list her as an outfielder. She played a lot of shortstop / center field. Again, you seeing a theme. She's an athlete, so she played down the middle of the field in those positions for Flower Mound. Took them to the state championship. She was 6A. We're not talking, again, this is the difference in level of player. All state. She was recently the DFW, so the Dallas-Fort Worth region 6A player of the year. Lot of schools there at the 6A level. She's a stud. This all happened this year, and she is ranked, at least whenever they put out the rankings, was 56th in the class of 2023 in the extra elite innings rankings. And I tend to think she might have been even higher if they put out those rankings now, because like I said, she was all-state this year, player of the year this year. Just recently, as like a week ago, was like the summer ball state championships here in Texas. Was a state champion, but also the MVP of that tournament on her travel ball team. So it seems like her game is just
continuing to progress. Yes.
And we already have her signed. So get that girl on campus before she can change her. I'm kidding. Don't change her mind, Logan. She seems she signed a paper pen to paper.
Good.
So she's fun because she's so fast, and that's even what Snider said about her when we signed her. He said she has incredible speed. That's what I was looking for. Okay. One of the fastest kids I've ever seen play the game.
No
she
way.
Will add to our outfield and will have a great career for Red Raider Nation. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, because this team, we weren't slow. We have fast speed-ish on the team, but we didn't have a lot of burners on the team.
Right.
We didn't steal a lot of bases. Again, in our defense, we were on second base a lot because we just got a lot of doubles. You don't got to steal second if you're already there, to be fair. Or Kaylee Wyckoff was turning them into triples. She definitely has some speed. We have Gabby Rawls off the bench who came in and pinch ran all the time. We haven't gotten to see her a lot as a hitter.
Yep.
But this girl just seems a little bit different. Like you said, here's someone like Snider who's seen players play all types. And to see the fastest player. I was like, well, that's intriguing. So I went and looked at some film. Holy bejesus, the girl can fly. Like, really? She hit one on a line that hit the wall. In softball, you hit a liner to the wall, you might get a single. If you're pretty fast, you might get a double if they misplay it. There's just not a lot of room. This girl hit a liner to the wall, bounced off, and got a triple, stand-up triple out of it. If they had bobbled it, that's inside the Parker.
Yes.
Easy. And then in another game this year, she led off the game with an inside the park home run. Casual. And then the next time up, she got a triple.
What?
Back-to-back at bats. Just crazy stuff about her game like that.
Logan,
I'm excited to see her play.
I
don't know where we're going to put her. She played a lot of shortstop. We could use some help at shortstop. But what you can also do is you can move Via back to shortstop. Because that's her natural position, but we didn't have a center fielder because Peyton was injured a lot and had to move over to left field and all that stuff happened. So we had to put Via out in center, who was not a natural center fielder at all, but she was athletic enough to grow into it. But you can move her back into the infield where she's comfortable and put this girl in the outfield. She's just going to run down everything. She'll be over in left field like, I got it. Like, it's going to be crazy. So I don't know if she's planning to play as a freshman, but I feel like it's going to be hard to keep her off the field based on what I'm seeing. I'm stoked about this girl just because she's so different. Excited. They're all we'll get into. She's not even the high list. There's a top 40 player we'll talk about in this class in a minute, but she's different. I like to see the speed part of the game.
Yes.
It's fun. Home runs, don't get me wrong. I love to see a good home run. I think this girl hit like 4 career home runs in her high school. She's not a home run hitter. Snider will turn her into one.
Yeah.
Give her some pop. But in most of those home runs were probably inside the Parkers. At least one of them was that we saw.
Dude, no way.
So like, she's not hitting them over the fence a lot in high school. That's not her game. We'll see if that changes in college. But you need some of those players, especially in the outfield. Even someone to just run down balls. She'll just be fun to watch, I think. So, a big time player, and in my opinion, flying up the rankings lately. Just like all of her accolades are coming in here recently.
That is amazing.
6A level All State.
That's
MVP
the other
at
thing.
the state tournaments, at these big time tournaments.
Yep.
Just a great player. So
wow, welcome in, Logan. I can't
bring
wait.
her on.
That's
Just to round it out with her career stats for her career in high school, she hit .547 with 196 career hits, 134 runs scored, 152 stolen bases. Was the stolen base leader at her high school, set the new record, and she had 12 triples, 4 home runs, 20-something doubles, 50 RBIs in her career. She's a speeder. She's a slap type player. Those are just fun to watch for me. Again, it's a big step to college, and we'll see how she steps up to it. But she could be fun out there in the outfield or wherever she plays for us.
And I'm down for her. Those stats for her to start there. You know, like that's
give
awesome.
Her a chance. We could use that athleticism out there, and a lot of these signees are infielders, and she is the one that has outfield by her name, so she might have kind of an easier path to find playing time in that sense. Plus her athleticism, but I don't know what Snider has planned. There's all these players coming in, so and you have Lord as well if she gets her waiver. Yeah, he's got a lot of pieces to play with, but
that's true.
She's exciting. I'm hyped for her.
Softball.
Yeah. And that's not even all, Sibby.
Oh,
it continues.
Keep going.
3 more.
Dude, what?
Ella Hill, another catcher.
And all of these are for the 2023. Yes. Oh my
Correct.
God.
They're all coming in the fall. Gosh. That might answer some of the people's questions on why we're not more active in the transfer portal. We have a big class coming in.
Yeah.
6 of them now. So he knows what he has, and he already got 2 more. Like, I don't know how many more people these people want him to sign. Like, there's only so much room on the team.
Correct.
So,
okay. Sorry.
Ella Hill. Okay. Another catcher. That's all she's listed as doing. And she's known as like a really good defender, so she probably she's a catcher, and she's going to grow into that. She might not be someone that's coming and stepping in to play day one, just with the catching depth that we have on the team. Like, it's going to be hard to bump them out of there. But who knows? You never know. Whoever's batting and playing the best is going to get the spot. So she's from Richardson, Texas, batted .667 with a .727 on base, and she's a switch hitter who appears to be 6'3", from what the recruiting service said. Her pictures, she's very tall in her pictures, but 6'3" as a catcher?
What?
My knees hurt just thinking about that. So
that's a long way down.
I don't know if we're thinking about bumping her maybe to first base or something, but like the umpire is going to need a little step stool.
This is amazing. Don't hate it. Tell me more about Ella. I need to know.
I'll just tell you what Snider had to say about her. How about that? He said she's an exceptional athlete. I mean, at 6'3", good gracious. 6'3" and playing catcher, you got to be an athlete to be able to move your limbs that way.
Dude.
And presence behind the plate. So there's that answer to that. They see her playing behind the plate for the Red Raiders. She brings us power at the plate and versatility on defense. We are excited for her to join Red Raider Nation.
I mean, these stats are wild. I can't get over the 6'3" thing. Like above 6 foot at all.
Is this correct?
I'm just like,
I'm scared to watch her at the plate.
Can you imagine going up to bat and she's like standing there, and then for me anyway, if she would squat down, she'd still be taller than me.
Absurd.
So
we had Morgan Hornback this year, and she's like 5'11", and she'd step up there. I'm like, oh my gosh,
I know, you can tell.
Intimidating. This girl's 4 inches taller.
I
don't know if that was a typo, but that's what this recruiting service said. So
I can
only go by what it said. In her picture, she's definitely tall. Like, it wasn't that big of a typo, but I can only go by that.
Her batting average, like, just powerful. I think one of the things that I really like too, we were talking about it just a second ago too, I think with Logan, but with her signing day at her high school. This is so dope. There's a still photo of her Texas Tech'd out, got Red Raiders sweater on. She's throwing a tortilla, Shelby. She's throwing a tortilla, Shelby. She knows. She gets it.
Ella,
she knows
already.
Ella, you get it. You get it, girl. Let's go.
We'll get that. I know they're working on making that legal in the dugout again, so maybe Ella can be in charge of the tortillas in her freshman year. If she's not, if she's redshirting, or if she's, I don't know what the plan is there. We have a lot of catchers, like I said, so I could see her being a redshirt candidate. But hey, that's all on what goes down in fall ball.
So awesome.
She's showing out. Coach might be like, hey, get you in the lineup. So we'll see. Well, that's going to be the fun thing. Fall ball is going to be fun for this team. There's a lot of athletes, and he's just going to say, go for it. Speaking of, one of the cooler things that happened as soon as Snider was hired, so to speak, he flipped a recruit kind of immediately from A&M, and her name was Raegan Jennings, another infielder from, Lord help me with this school name. Asta Socito, something like a high school. I don't know where it is. Probably near San Antonio as well. They're all around there. And she was previously committed. I think it might actually be Houston, if I saw it. But anyway, previously committed to A&M. Where Snider was. Pretty much right when he was hired, just quickly after that, she flipped to follow him to Texas Tech. Shows you he was not the head coach at A&M. He was the hitting coach, and he was the one getting these. And they're like, cool, I'm going to go with him to Texas Tech, not stay here at this SEC program, because he's the one that I wanted to play for, not the could care less. Bye. So that's always good to see. She was a top 75 middle infielder by ranking. She just seems like she's another really good athlete, really smooth type player. We need some help at the middle infield position, especially as our seniors and Love and Barraza graduate after this following year. It's good to get some younger players in there. And you seemed excited about something. Would you like to?
I did, yeah. I'm looking at this clip where she's showing bunt. And for me, whenever I see that, I'm like, okay, whatever you roll with, you're going to roll with. But you don't really, in my opinion, and this is probably ignorance, but I'm like, you probably can't crank too much power behind it if you decide not to go with a bunt.
Yeah.
Dude, she shows bunt, winds it back up, cranks a homer.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's really impressive. To be able to
I was like, this seems
reload.
scientifically.
I mean, people do it, but like
it shows a level of
focus and her swing and her bat speed and all of that.
So I saw that clip and I was like, oh, it'll hit the wall, or no, it's out.
It's out. Yeah, every single one of these people could just crank them, and I mean that's why hitters are gonna come to Texas Tech now, because we have Snider. I don't know how many times we need to say this. If you're not familiar, Craig Snider has a great reputation amongst the softball world as a hitting coach. These players, and he's kind of been all over the country in his job, so he has players that have been to his camps in Florida. He's had players that's been to his camps at A&M. Like around the country, in SEC country, in ACC country, now in Big 12 country. He's very well integrated, and these players have known him since they were kids. And learning from his philosophies, and they know people talk about him. They know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pitching side of things where we gotta find, and we have a big one someday we'll talk about her coming in the next class, who's like a stud pitcher. We'll talk about her another day, but that's not this year yet. So we gotta keep getting pitching in. But these hitters, man, she's one of them. She hit .542 this past season with 21 doubles, 5 triples, 4 home runs, and 16 stolen bases. Just for good measure, it's not a huge number, but it's not a shabby number. It has enough speed to make it happen when she can.
Wow.
Another infielder. Like I said, the infield competition is
stacked. Yeah.
Like I'm sure some of these will end up redshirting, not to waste a year waiting, because we also have some returners, obviously, that are good infielders. So. But it's going to come down to who wins those spots and will play this year, and injuries and all that. But it's good to have depth.
Yes.
It's not a bad problem to have.
Exactly. And she's like, I'm very impressive. Like, I think Coach Snider knows and sees and talks about, but she seems very quick in a position where you have to be in the infield. So.
Yeah. I think
perfect.
He said her athleticism and smoothness in the infield will add a ton of value. We missed a little bit of smoothness in the infield, because that comes from someone that is comfortable in their position. We have some athletes on this team, but again, out of necessity, they were playing out of position, and so it's hard to be smooth when you're like learning the position for the first time. So it's one of those things where next year maybe these returners will be more smooth because they've had an extra year, and then these people can step in after they go, because we're going to have a lot of seniors next year, I believe. A lot of fifth-year seniors and seniors that are going to be graduating and moving on. So that's part of why this class is so big. So.
Dang.
She was a big one. I remember when he got signed, and quickly she came along with him. That was a big get.
Cool.
And the last one on the list, but certainly not least, was a top 40 ranked player coming out of the 23 class named Makenna Mitchell, another infielder, added to the plate. She might, again, be one that rivals trying to get playing time her freshman year. We'll see how she stacks out against everybody else, but she has the accolades coming in. She's from Santa Fe, Texas, and she's just an all-around player. Defensively known for her game, and then at the plate, obviously, she hit .437, .506 on base, .930 slugging. She had 8 home runs, 13 stolen bases. She can just flat out swing it, and she's just elite at all levels. Like that.
Dang.
It's not like she's going to need to learn defense. She can kind of step in wherever we need her. But Coach said she is a phenomenal athlete. Again, he's recruiting athletes that he can then put into the lineup, and he's comfortable with his ability to make them hit. But she's a phenomenal athlete that brings all 5 elite tools to the table. If anyone's familiar with baseball and softball, a 5-tool athlete, that's an elite space to be in when you can do all 5 things. And her versatility in the infield will add a lot of value to our program. Makenna also has some incredible power and hitability. I love that word, hitability. She will make an impact day one. So there you go. He does envision her being an impact player this freshman year. And that's the plan for her. And we saw it last year with Kaylee Wyckoff. So why not another one? And she could be that one as well. So, again, they're going to have to fight it out. There's a lot of them. I'd envision 1 or 2 of them at least being redshirted. And I'm sure that's been talked about coming in, but I also assume that they're going to be allowed to fight for a spot, and if they earn it, get out there. Because like someone like Logan, I mean, I'm really excited to watch her play, but maybe she could have a Gabby Rawls role where she's like the pinch runner this year, and then Gabby's getting the playing, because Gabby's really good too. She's a similar player to Logan, and we didn't get to see her play because we didn't have space for her in the lineup. I assume she'll get more ABs this year, and be less of just the pinch runner. But maybe then Logan will take that role as the special runner or whatever. So they'll find their ways to get in there and contribute, and I'm excited for this class.
I was just thinking, wow, Coach Snider is really working hard, but like this is a good problem to have, I guess. But like your job is going to be really tough come season play, and all of these really high level athletes battling for spot and playing time and stuff like that. It's just, yeah. How do you go through that? How do you manage that? But all of these players are so stacked. Like, did you say a batting average below 400 at all? I don't think so.
I mean, you're not going. I mean, let's be fair.
I get like high school,
Power 5 school. You should be doing this, but it's like even that thing. Like I sent you that clip on Logan. I was like, this is just silly behavior. She should be doing it, but it's comedy to watch someone that fast and with that ability at the plate. And she's not tiny either. I saw a picture of her and. Whereas they caught it right at the moment of impact, she's jacked for a small person, like just straight muscles. So they're all that way. I'm really excited to mix these in with the players we have returning. Yeah. We'll get into this team and do breakdowns on the returners, and we're going to interview Snider at some point. We're talking with him, guys. We promise. People keep asking. Yeah. It's kind of his off season. I mean, he's clearly still recruiting, so that doesn't exist. But we're not pressuring the guy, but we're trying to figure out our schedules and find a time to get him on here.
That'll be
really talk about this past season, but it's even better now because now we can talk about the full recruiting class. Once we get Madrid actually signed a paper and he's allowed to talk about it, it'll be better. Yeah. So in the end, it worked out, and we'll break down the full team as we get closer to January. We got a long ways to go. But
I know, for real.
Get hype. Someone asked us on YouTube how to donate to the softball team. Reach out to the team directly. You want to help out the team, they can do that, or go to the Matador Club. But if you want to go straight to softball, find someone within the program. Let's do it. They need our support just like everybody else does.
That's so true. Wow, I cannot wait. And like, again, we've talked about this, but softball is so much fun to watch. The park where they play, it's
speed and
it's the speed. Yeah, you're there and you have something that's going on at all times, and especially with Texas Tech, we talk about it all the time. You like home runs? Cool. See you at the game.
That's not going to be a problem.
And now, but to see a lot of different perspective besides like hitting, I think it'll help clean up a lot of where we were challenged last year. And I know you've talked about this, Shelby, but like having this team turn around quickly, I don't know. It just feels really different with Coach Snider. And you talked about it with these recruiting stories of people are following him, right? Like, and he's had experience in different conferences and things like that. It's just, I think that just really speaks to his level as a coach, but also just like making that connection of, hey, if you want to do this, you want to be about a championship, come on down to Lubbock.
Yeah. It just seems like, and it's no shade at our past coaches. Like, listen, they did what they did, but it feels like they were having to recruit them to Texas Tech.
Yes.
And like show them who Texas Tech was. People already know, oh, Snider's there. That's why we're getting the end. Like, you don't have to go convince these people to even show up. They're like, I'll give them a chance because Snider's there. And then they get there and like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The facilities are great. Yep. The city's great. Like, that, it's a big pool. So again, we'll find out who the pitching coach is when they announce that. That is a side of the team that needs to improve. We have talent on the team, but there's some depth that needs to happen there. If we're just being honest, because we lose Fritz, who ate a lot of innings. And that side will need to grow. If we ever want to become elite, we're going to have to get elite pitching on campus. Everyone knows that. That's how softball works. You can have the best hitters in the world, but you need someone to not be allowing them to score so you're not winning 10 to 11 games every day. So we get it, y'all. We're realistic about it, but this is really exciting as far as hitting goes. Cool. And we'll get into it in a future episode. They have a stud pitcher coming in the year after that, the 24 class. So they're working on pitching. It just might be a year away. But Sage, I think Sage is going to have a breakout year. I'm here for it.
This is going to, feels like it's going to be her year.
All right, team. That's what we got for you today on softball.
I love it.
Get the tickets when they're available. You got a good bit from now. Go follow all the players on Twitter and social media, all the places, Instagram. Let them know that you're excited about them.
Let's go.
And we'll see you next time, y'all.
Sounds good. Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.